Hey everybody, this is Mac. We are on Mission Rewired Mastermind today, uh, a group that caters to veterans, law enforcement, and first responders transitioning from their service career into their own business enterprise. As Our mission statement is to help veterans uh, make that transition. It can be very challenging leaving a community unit and going out on your own and trying to communicate with folks that may not have had the same life experiences. Chad Mitchell from Metropolis Equity is joining us today. He has some very interesting words on helping veterans scale their business, but not just building it at the moment, but looking towards the future. What is your strategy? What is it that you want from your business? When do you want to get out of your business? I appreciate everybody showing up today. Chad, I'm going to turn this over to you. I think you're unmuted, and,
Okay.
and
How are,
we'll figure out how I can.
this is perfect. Thank you. Well, everybody, I'm Chad. I think I know most of you. Amanda and I have taken our Race to Revenue program, which is basically getting a business owner to another higher level than where they're at using about 4 or 5 different business development strategies. And most small entrepreneurs never take the time to learn this because let's say you're a mechanic and you are the best mechanic on the planet, but that doesn't mean that you are necessarily the best financial strategist for mechanics, right? And so that's why most of the time business owners end up wondering what happened to all their money at the end of the month, or they're always staying up at night figuring out how are they building retirement for themselves. And this comes from a very uh, personal place because my grandmother had a little grocery store that I used to love going to as a kid, and she ended up losing it because she had a bad loan, ended up dying on broke on Social Security. And so a lot of times the veterans, they get out of the service and they might have been great in their world, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to translate when they get back to the private sector. And so that's why we've taken our Race to Revenue program and put a little extra bend on it for veterans, because you have some benefits when you come out of the service if you don't mess yourself up. And what I mean by that is everybody, if you had a honorable discharge, then you have a DD 214 right off the bat. You have a 0% interest loan. Like, where else are you going to find that? Right? The government's paying you back for helping us out. You need to take advantage of that. However, if right when you got back, you started maxing out all your Capital One cards and going partying with your buddies back, going back to your old lifestyle, your credit's going to tank and you're not going to be able to take advantage of all your benefits. So why you have all that discipline coming out of the service, why don't we just redirect it to something positive? And so I'm going to share my screen here, And Amanda, who would normally be on this call with me, who's on with a VC group on a deal we're working, accidentally double booked. So I apologize for that. And so does she. However, she has recorded her part, and I'm going to bring it up right now. Share with the sound. And then we're going to just go through this, and I'm going to stop it if you guys have any questions and add my 2 cents in as if Amanda and I were here together. I mean, she's better at putting presentations like this together, so y'all are going to love it. All right, here we go, guys.
All right, thanks guys for letting me do this a little bit remotely today, but I am excited to be here with you. So I'm going to go through our presentation and Chad's going to work with me here, and we're just going to go through our race to revenue and how we help business owners and veterans like you work in their business, grow their business, thrive not just for the business, but for themselves and for their families and for their future. So we'll get started. Overall, the number of veteran-owned businesses has declined in recent decades. 1 out of every 18 US businesses are owned by veterans. They're natural entrepreneurs. Obviously, they have the drive, the grit, and want to serve. And so the thing that's keeping them out, what we're seeing is that they're experiencing some growth challenges, and there are a number of those that are coming up. Consistent revenue is one of the top ones. So 50% report struggling with consistent revenue generation, meaning how are we going to pay the bills every month? One month it's a stellar month and we've got sales and we can cover all of our bills and we're making a profit. And then the next month, we're not sure when the next sale is coming in and how we're going to make it to the next month. And then the other one is 49% faced significant barriers to accessing capital. So veterans often face more challenges getting business loans and credit approval than non-veterans. So banks may not understand military service as work experience. Frequent moves during service can hurt credit histories, and a lot of lenders may be unfamiliar with business models. And that's just not veterans, that's entrepreneurs in general from what we've experienced. So those lead to higher rates of credit denials and unmet funding needs. So 49% are not fully approved for loans and 36% face credit denials. And that is notably higher than non-veteran business owners. So we're already up against one struggle. So we're not able to reach our full potential in capital. Having that funding, having that capital is necessary to being able to take our business to the next level. So funding access is really something needed for aligned impact, and that's something we work with people on. So business is a race, and that's why we call it the race to revenue. But are you running it alone? Every entrepreneur starts their business with a passion, with a mission, and a drive dedicated to serving their clients, their customers, and they have to have the right strategy to move forward. I often say when we start working with our clients, do you know the business of running the business? I can create the widget. I can love the widget. I can talk about the widget all day. I am so passionate about the widget. You fill in the blank with what that widget is. But at the end of the day, there is so much more that goes into the running of the business, the sustaining and scaling of the business that is beyond the product or service itself that got you into it in the first place. Okay. And then hustle doesn't always equal growth. We live in this hustle culture. And then there's ambition that is disguised as, or burnout disguised as ambition. And working harder doesn't necessarily guarantee success. So a lot of business owners we see experience the burnout from trying to do everything themselves. And what I tell people often is that DIY approach does end up costing you more in the long run. Go back to the widget example. I love this widget. I'm really great at selling this widget or implementing this thing. If I'm over here trying to learn bookkeeping, if I'm trying to apply for all of these loans and credit, if I'm trying to implement the technology that I need, if I'm trying to do all the follow-ups with all of my clients, that is taking me away from the things that I am in my zone of genius and are ultimately going to keep me fulfilled and generate revenue. So we try to burn out by doing everything ourselves instead of automating and delegating. So winners have support. Just like elite athletes, successful business owners have a strategy, support crew, and the right resources to cross the finish line. So we're going to go through some frameworks to help you leverage your experience and the unique challenges of just being a business owner. So we're going to go through our 5 pillars of revenue acceleration. Now, this is a framework that we've used with all of our business owners to go from struggling operations to valuable wealth building assets. And these pillars, they work together as a system. And when properly implemented, they take you from a business that really generates consistent revenue, builds wealth, operates efficiently, with or without you. How many of you run a business and if you take a vacation, that business continues to operate and generate revenue? Okay. Are you the business? Are you the answer to every question? Are you the bottleneck if something needs to be done? And these are the things that we will talk about in some of these pillars. But ultimately, we need to transition from being the self-employed person working the business to being the business owner. And these pillars that we're going to talk about, depending on where you are in your business, we'll evaluate each of these. You can pull one or the other, and they can really make a huge difference in your business. Like I said, I know Chad's going to break in some of these, but pillar number 1 is revenue and profit. Now, a lot of people don't understand the critical difference between the two. A lot of people focus on that top line growth without really monitoring what stays in their pocket. So revenue, yes, this is how much money my business is bringing in, and on paper, my business looks fantastic. But then I find myself at the end of the month of saying, where did all my money go? I hear that a number of times from small business owners who traditionally end up with more month than money because we're not managing that revenue. We're not managing our cash flow. And we'll get into that a little bit later, but it's your profit margin that equals your survival. So if we don't know those, if we can't identify those, we're losing money. We're not tracking things appropriately across every product line, across of our services, and really tracking our numbers is going to tell us how profitable we truly are, not how profitable we think we are. Another diagnostic tool that we use when we work with our clients is your business valuation. Whether or not you plan to sell your business within the next year, it doesn't matter. What you want to know is, would you invest in your business? Where are you, and what kind of leverage do you have as a business owner? Now, it's not what you make, but what you're building, and your business should become more valuable each quarter. So you want to track all those critical metrics. And I think Chad will probably break in right now and talk about our entrepreneur scorecard.
I will, as a matter of fact. Thank you very much. Let me show you what we are talking about, because this is my not only my nerdiest favorite thing, but it really is kind of essential for any business owner to keep proper numbers on themselves. I try to make math as fun as I possibly can for people because nobody likes it, but you guys can see this. I give this away to everybody. You can get this after this is over. It's called the Entrepreneur Scorecard.
If you're an entrepreneur or business owner and you don't want to waste any opportunities or leave any money on the table, The Entrepreneur's Scorecard is a powerful tool for business owners to track their financial health and growth. It's just like a baseball card for entrepreneurs. It has a place for you to set your goals and then let you know if you actually hit those goals or not. And it focuses on 3 key metrics: profit margin, cash on cash return, and business valuation.
Okay, so that's basically what it is. A baseball card for entrepreneurs. I know everybody's got their own P&L templates out there and everybody's got QuickBooks, but this is more for you than it is for the government or anything else, because it keeps more stats that you probably don't think about yourself on. Company valuation. Do you know how much you're worth? I mean, if you don't, that's like saying, how much is your house worth, right? And oh, I don't have an idea. Well, you wouldn't do that. And a business is the same way. And let me take, for instance, right now, just family story. My sister's getting divorced, right? And my dad and my brother-in-law had a crawfish delivery business. Now, for 2 years, I have been trying to get my brother-in-law to do stuff with me in this manner, but he's blue collar, stuck in his ways, thinks he wants to figure it all out on his own. And so I just quit asking him, right? And my dad is very similar. That's probably why they got along. And right now they're deciding who owes who what to split that business up, because my brother-in-law is going to part ways. And it's probably a $30,000 swing one way or the other, depending on who's going to put up a better argument to the other person, because neither one of them have the thought process to figure out how to value their business, right? They have ongoing revenue. They've got a buyer base. They've got more than just the equipment. And so they don't understand. And so that's one reason why you need to know your valuation. Two, if you needed to take out a loan against your business, an SBA loan, and we've got one working right now. It's going to change somebody's life when they get it. It's got the best terms out there because the government wants you to succeed. America's a business, okay? So they want to give you an SBA loan if it makes sense. Now, they're not just going to give anybody a startup business loan, but we can work towards that. So if you want to do that, or maybe you want to buy a partner out, maybe you're getting divorced, you want to sell shares to take in some other money. I was on a little business TV show that started filming this year, and one of the guys was a veteran starting a new business, and he was really in the crux of deciding if he wanted to take money from somebody. And I told him equity is more expensive than debt. And so we valued his company, and he decided to not take that deal. That would have been a game changer. So for all these reasons and more, this spreadsheet will help you. It'll figure out your valuation. It'll give you your real profit margin. It'll also figure out your cash on cash return. What that means is, let's say you made $20,000 each month, but then you had to constantly put $10,000 in each month to pay the bills, to get it going again. So we develop out business credit lines for you to transfer all that business debt that many of you are carrying on your personal credit. We transfer that over where it belongs and get your paperwork right, and your cash on cash return is better. So all of this stuff, including your how much do you make per hour? Are you working in your business or on it? This is a very hard spreadsheet, but just like the back of a baseball card, it's got all these stats. So if you want to start living your life in the best way you can imagine, this is heavy discipline. It is not for everybody. But I just wanted to share that with you. And then we'll go on with Amanda's great opus here. Does anybody have any questions so far? Is everybody here tracking?
Chad, I would like to we get a copy of that scorecard.
Oh yeah, I'll give you the link at the end of this. I'll give you guys some goodies after this is over. But that's what she's talking about is the scorecard. And it's pretty robust. It's the look, if y'all know Amanda, she's a property manager of multi-million-dollar portfolios, and she's just very good at keeping things in lines. And my spreadsheet, even though I made it up because I'm a psycho like that, it doesn't mean that I'm good at even keeping it on myself. Okay. So we all need accountability. And if you really want to know who you are in life, this is how you do it. So, I mean, you're only cheating yourself anyway. It's not like Weight Watchers where, like, I don't care. I mean, the only person that cares is you. So that's what this scorecard's for.
And pillar number 2, marketing and lead generation. Now, this is a huge one because you hear a lot of times people will get into spaghetti marketing. We're just going to throw something out there and see what sticks. I'm going to post on social media every day and hope something happens. What we need is consistent leads because that will equate to consistent cash flow. We need lead channels that are bringing in people consistently and predictably. And then we need to be able to track the conversion rates. Just because I have 1,000 leads coming in off of my Facebook campaign, if they are not converting into sales, then what kind of quality do I have and where do I need to go change my messaging? Okay. Another number that we need to track is knowing your customer acquisition costs. So when you're spending money on these marketing campaigns and spending money on lead generation, do you know how much each customer costs to acquire them? Cash on cash return is another thing that I know Chad's going to talk about in the entrepreneur scorecard. We have to measure every marketing dollar. We have to know for every dollar we spend on marketing, what are we getting back? So we talk here about aiming for a 3-to-1 minimum return on marketing investment. So we want to scale the channels that produce the highest ROI. And if we're not tracking those metrics, how do we know? How do we know when to adjust if something's not performing at that level, when something is, that we can move our resources, move our money, time, and energy into those that are getting us that higher cash on cash return? So the most successful entrepreneurs are very strategic about their marketing as an investment and not as an expense. And we want to measure those results religiously and pay attention and know what works and double down. All right, pillar number 3. This one's my personal favorite, systems and automation. I am a whiteboard kind of girl. Standard operating procedures create efficient operations. And when we can apply that discipline to our business through systems and automations, we can scale so much more efficiently. So if you're performing everything manually, and most businesses are, you are eating up your time, you've got inconsistent results, and everything again is dependent on you. I want you to take a couple seconds and think, how many tasks each day am I performing over and over again? And how many of those could be automated? Okay. Another thing we want to look at is documented systems. Again, things that you are doing on a regular basis. How are you tracking those processes so that they can be repeatable and less dependent on you? Do you have those documented? Do you have those processes as standard operating procedures so that you can easily transfer those responsibilities to someone else, train new team members, BAs? If it's clearly documented and it's able to duplicate, then you are then buying back your time as a business owner. Back to the automated processes, it makes everything so much more efficient, scalable, and you get a significantly higher business value because you're able to serve that many more people and take those manual tasks off your plate. So every manual process in your business costs you so much more than you realize. So you're going to end up, by automating your business and those manual tasks, reducing your labor costs. You're going to minimize errors. It's going to protect your profit margin. And, I'll say too, you've heard it before, the fortune is in the follow-up. How many times have we forgotten to follow up with the lead? We got somebody who's like, I'm going to follow up with you on X day. Or you've thought to yourself, they didn't say yes today, but I'm going to follow up with them in a couple weeks and stay on top of them. And then things just slip through the cracks. Something pops up. You forgot. Maybe even if you're like me, it got put on your calendar, but you were busy doing something else and you forgot to do it. And it just gets lost. We can automate those things. We can create systems and workflows that keep us in touch with our clients without us manually having to do anything. And that is where we're going to recoup some lost income, because we are staying connected with our clients, staying in front of them. And I know they used to say it was 7 or 8 touch points to get someone to convert, and now it's up to 30 something touch points with all the AI and social media. So we're building trust with our clients when we keep our commitments, when we stay in front of them, when we're giving them valuable information, and they know that we're there. So businesses with all of these documented processes, automated systems, they are going to sell for 3 to 5 times more than other businesses that are dependent on the owner. How could I go in and buy a business that is reliant on the owner when the owner is leaving? Why would I do that? Okay, this is going to directly impact your long-term wealth creation. We're going to move to pillar number 4. And this one, I know Chad's going to talk a lot more about, because this is his specialty, but capital, credit, and cash flow. This is where it all comes down. And as Chad and I are both real estate investors, we love the term other people's money. And that is how I've built my real estate portfolio, using other people's money. And you can do the same in business by utilizing capital, business, and corporate credit. You need adequate resources to run your business and proper capitalization to get the tools, to get the staff, to get the inventory, to get the technology able to get you to scale. That costs money. So why don't we use other people's money? Okay. And then the other piece of that is cash flow. The number one reason that small businesses fail is cash flow mismanagement. So what we have to realize, and I'm not going to go into the details on this slide, I'm going to let Chad take that over. But what I want you to realize is when it comes to debt, debt is not a bad thing if it's utilized properly. What you have to have is an ROI on that debt. When we take on business credit, we have to know what we're going to use it for and what that is going to get us in revenue. Okay. So having a clear plan for that debt that's going to produce income is how we leverage the debt to give us the runway to get to that next level in our business. And I know Chad will refer to this also, but if you're like me, if you're like 99.9% of other entrepreneurs out there, you've bootstrapped your business with your own personal funds. Okay. You've leveraged out your savings, some of us with home equity line of credit. All of your credit cards have been maxed out to run this business. And I see time and time again, business owners whose personal credit is in the toilet because they have done everything they could to grow their business and now they're trying to rebuild. What we aim to do is move that business expenses that are on your personal credit over to this business credit so that you can start to rebuild, so that we can get things where they need to be, so that you can preserve your wealth for your family over here and put the business expenses over here where they belong. And I'm going to hand this over to Chad to take over for the different kinds of credit, loans, and tax advantage accounts.
Okay, So I don't necessarily want to go through in too much detail about a bunch of different loan programs, but I can tell you, like, let me give you an example of what I'm working on today, right? I just got, right before this, I get a text from my underwriter. I got this woman in Florida who has a single family house that she runs. She's about to start running an assisted living center out of it. I got her a $25,000 business line of credit, which is going to be great. I'm going to redo her loan that she has on it. This is part of our Expand Your Empire program, which is the real estate investor version of our Race to Revenue. But my point is, this woman's going to run a business inside her real estate. And we're going to be maxing out all of her resources. That's what we're doing in any business owner situation, is finding out if you even need any capital. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just need sales. Sometimes you just need a better way to generate leads. Sometimes you just need a better way to have follow-up. And if that's the case, then we go that route with you. If you need bigger purchases or something else, then we will go for business credit. That woman that I just told y'all about, she had to wait 6 months because she tanked her credit, doing exactly what Amanda was talking about on the video just now. So some of you guys might have like a 550 to 650 credit, and it's because you maxed out your stuff getting your business started. There might be ways that we can tweak a few things. I can do a simulator on it and see if we can raise your score a little to get you approved for business credit. Then we transfer all that debt over and your personal life gets a lot better. But I just wanted to show y'all briefly that spreadsheet. That woman's going to make about $8,000 a month running that little small assisted living center on a $250,000 house. It's a monster cash flow play. But we'll keep going on Amanda's video here. Do y'all have any other questions so far about any of that? Any comments, or is this good for y'all?
If you have a question, just unmute yourself.
No, everybody's good? Okay, cool. Well, then here we go.
All right, pillar number 5, CEO time and strategy. This is a big one. We talked earlier, I said you got to buy back your time, and that is huge. It requires a big mindset shift to tell people, did you just start a business so that you could buy yourself a job with a flexible dress code, or do you actually own a business? Going from the military to entrepreneurship, going from employee to entrepreneur, there are significant mindset changes that have to come into place to be able to operate as a strategic leader, as an owner, because your focus and your time are your most valuable assets. So what we want to encourage you to do is you've got to focus on your net worth, not just your income. All right, at Metropolis Business Development, we are more than just about the business. We are about the business owner. Because at the end of the day, why did you start the business in the first place? My assumption is to provide financial freedom for your family, generational wealth. These are the things that you wanted to create outside of the business. And so that's what we aim to create, not just income, but your personal net worth. Income's going to feed your life today. Net worth is going to secure your family's future. You want to develop a 6 to 12 month strategic plan and update that all the time. Very clear milestones for each of those pillars, and you want to review those and adjust as needed. And this really helps you prevent reactive decision making. If you know where you're going, you're not going to let little setbacks deter you. Layla Hermosi is famous for saying something. I won't use quite the words she uses on here, but forget your mood and follow the plan. If you have the plan in place, your mood today will change, but the plan will not. So we have to know where we're going in order to stick to that plan, regardless of how I feel today or tomorrow. All right, number 3, continuing on that wealth goal, we want to build long-term wealth and we want to diversify it outside of our business. Now, I'll say this. I love data. I'm going to throw some more statistics at you. So, less than 13% of small business owners have any exit, legacy, or succession plan, retirement plan, whatever retirement means to you. Now, most people I talk to just assume that they will exit their business, sell their business. Now, 80% of the businesses listed for sale never sell. And of those that do, they sell for less than half of what they were listed for. So if I'm looking at that, not only are we not preparing for our future, unless retirement to you means working until you're 90, which I don't think that's what you got into business to do. We're not preparing, and we're making assumptions about how lucrative our business is going to be when that time comes. So we want to diversify your wealth beyond your business. We want to help you grow that business. You're going to raise to revenue, you're going to increase that profit, and then we're going to strategically reinvest that profit outside of your business into other wealth building assets that are going to generate passive income so that you can make money while you sleep, as Robert Kiyosaki says. So these numbers up here are just an example, but I want everyone to take a minute and really evaluate yourself and your business on each of these 5 pillars and rate yourself. Really, I mean, you could do it on a percentage, you could do it on a scale of 1 to 5. I normally have a worksheet that I have, people fill out, but on your revenue and profit, do you know your exact profit margins and how sure are you for your products and services? And is your business increasing in value each quarter? And how do you know? Are you tracking it? For your marketing and lead generation, do you have consistent lead generation? Do you know, are you able to predict what your sales are going to be based on those marketing campaigns? And can you really calculate your ROI on that marketing and ad spend? Your systems and automations, are those core processes documented? How many operations run automatically without you performing them? Capital and cash flow. Do you have access to business lines of credit? And if you don't, do you know where to go to get them? Are you maintaining adequate cash reserves? And are you leveraging some of these financial benefits that we talked about in credit lines? And then our 5th and final, CEO time and strategy. Are you spending at least 60% of your time on growth activities, on the business, the long-term planning versus daily operations? And do you have a strategic plan? And are you sticking to it? So this scorecard reveals where you are possibly leaking revenue and what to prioritize first. And I say this kind of puts us in triage. And we know which of the levers or which of the pillars we need to focus on first to be able to steer things back in the right direction and really give us the greatest opportunity to move forward. So I wanted to kind of give some really brief case studies of other people that we've worked with that were just like you in your situation. We worked with a veteran who started with a 250K service-based business, very thin margins, and was doing everything himself and just felt like he could not get ahead. He was limited in his time, he was limited in his capital, and he just felt stuck and he couldn't do it anymore. So he changed his mindset. He worked with our mindset coach first. That's what we brought in to try to shift kind of the way he was thinking. And then we brought in some of those funding options to help him get the capital that he needed to implement the systems that started to change the way he operated in his business. And that in turn started to give him the time and energy and money to work at a different level and start increasing his revenue and therefore taking his time out and increasing his margins. So applied for those strategies, increased from 8 to 22% within 9 months. And it doesn't just mean more cash, it means that valuation increases because that business is more profitable. And then, like I said, got that growth capital using our funding programs, and the business valuation went from 375K to over 2.3 million in 18 months. So it's not theory. This is what happens when operators become CEOs. It's what's possible with the right strategy. And that's what it takes, tools and strategy. And you don't know what you don't know. And if you have the right resources, there's no reason not to take advantage of them to get to that next level for you and for your family. You know, we talked about our pillars. We talked about kind of how we operate within our coaching program and the services and tools we offer. Our race to revenue. We have the Veterans Race to Revenue. It's not a course. It is a group of business owners building wealth together, because that's what it is about, is building wealth, our future for our families. We actually implement these things. We have tactical plans that you can deploy immediately in your business, and we work with you to set those in motion. You've got strategy, accountability, and the funding guidance from people who have been there and done that. And ultimately, everything about this program is with a wealth building focus. We want to turn your business income into generational wealth and secure your legacy. So I'm really excited, you guys. I was able to present today. I'm sorry I couldn't be here in person. I'm presenting to another group at the exact same time. So it just didn't work out today, but I'm going to let Chad wrap us up. I hope to see some of you in our next Race to Revenue Heat. I hope to get to see all of you in person, and I'll be on one of the next calls so I can meet everybody soon. Thanks.
Okay. Well, that was that. Going into closing this out, who this is best for is somebody that's already hit the ground. They're chugging along. It's not really for a startup mode unless you are like 30 days or less away from your product hitting the market. And if you are, this is really great. I am creating a group of veterans that want to always be moving forward. So I'm looking for people that are building businesses. We haven't started the veterans group yet. I have just a regular race to revenue that we've started doing, but I haven't built a veterans one yet. And I thought I would wait until I got 10 together so everybody could start at the same time and everybody could keep pace with each other. Kind of a few of the extra thought processes, having military benefits, everybody will get an idea from somebody else, if that makes sense, in a true mastermind group sense. So if you guys know anybody when we get ready to start this up, let me know. It comes with, we're going to fill this form out for all of you guys. I'll spend a few hours with you alone. And then once a week, we'll be meeting up in a complete mastermind setting, going over everybody's, improvements. It's a 3-month program, and I'm going to give the veterans a lot off of that. We're going to, we charge $2,500, $2,497 for our regular group, but I was going to have special veteran pricing. If I can get everybody to sign up and start by Labor Day. So if anybody knows anyone, or if you think this is right for you, and over September, October, November, if you want to light it up, you know, everybody gets to the end of the year and they're like, oh, next year I'm going to crush it. Right. And like now, if you could start now, you will have a great New Year's Eve and be, I'm so proud of myself. I'm going into 2026. I'm going to, you know, get it then too. But like every year, everybody has that New Year's Eve, kind of like next year it's on. But like just have it start being on now. That's what I'm getting at. We give you our CRM automation that'll help with all your marketing and follow up and sales for the 3 months. Come up with a little campaign for you. And then I'm going to coach you through how to get your credit fixed if you need it. If you wanted to start creating corporate credit for yourself, like hundreds of thousands of dollars without any qualifications, that takes about 6 months to a year, depending on what kind of business you're in. But see, I've got all these little things for people depending on where they're starting from. We have case studies. I'm constantly pulling movies and other things out. My buddy in Hollywood just filmed a movie. He's my fantasy football commissioner, like 20 years, right? Like we met, we're like brothers. He texted me 2 weeks ago the plot of the movie they're shooting, and it's supposed to be like some caper movie. And I'm like, dude, that's weak compared to what I'm doing. I'm at a early release prison halfway house where people are starting businesses, and you know what I mean? Like the stuff that we can do inside this business development program is massive. I'm going to give you a bunch of other lessons that we have inside what we call the Metropolis University: how to buy a house, how to buy a rent house. Like I showed you the spreadsheet on the woman doing the retirement home. That's our expand your empire program that teaches you how to build real estate portfolios. We charge $2,500 for that too, but I'll throw that in if y'all want for like an extra $500 later on, like after the program's over, if you like that. Because I just want to start a group with veterans really bad. So I want to try to give y'all a good offer. At the end of this, I'm going to have a live event for 5-6 hours. It's going to be going over case studies, using all the loan programs and all the credit programs and all the different strategies we have. I will show you how people are buying apartments, buying rent houses with little money out of their pocket, ways they're banking their money in special life insurance accounts that I set up for them. So if you guys are out searching for life insurance and you don't know what kind, I set the kind up that capitalizes businesses with tax advantages and loopholes and asset protection, all the stuff that like a lot of insurance salesmen will try to sell you something else, but I'm not trying to sell you insurance. I'm just putting it in this special account, and you get insurance as a benefit of it. But we could talk about that later. You'll get all of this stuff, the roadmap where we come up with a 20-year game plan for you, and you figure out how to work backwards and get it. The American Dream Group is our business group, which I give y'all access to right now. I'm going to start charging for it later on. But if you guys wanted to start a little veterans race to revenue group, I'm going to be starting a magazine and a charity for PTSD and first responders, and have a podcast for business owners that are veterans called The Private Sector. A lot of deals are going to get made. I mean, this is the group that we're going to create. So this is my my underwriting manager, George, who could not make a guest appearance today, but he's in his office writing VA loans all day long, being grumpy old man, but he's really great at what he does. And so if we're searching for maybe a property that you can use either to live in or for a rental property, see, these are, again, you've got benefits that civilians never had. If you don't maximize them, then they're worthless though. And if you're not qualified to use them all, then we get you qualified. That's part of what we do. All of this really is pretty much the same thing, just start your resolutions now. There's Mac right there holding the drink. And that's pretty much it, man. I'd like to start doing a book club once a month that people are reading something productive and people can share their ideas and notes on. And on this right here, if you guys want, if you think that you're right or you have somebody, then I'll give you this link and I'll give you this scorecard link. Fill out, schedule a time with me on this call today. Here, I'm going to put this in the chat. Like, if you guys are even thinking about doing this, even if now's not the right time to do it. Oh, chat's disabled. I can't put it in chat, Mac. Well, I'll get it to you. Is disabled? Can we turn it back on?
If I can figure out how to do that.
Okay. Well, while he's figuring it out, let me show you all the other stuff. Like, this is what I call the smart card. It's my entrepreneur business card for networking. It's got a calendar on there, so it's like Calendly, only better. It's got all my social media links and videos, so it's like Linktree but better. It's a landing page and a funnel with a QR code, a little bio. And if you guys, we normally are going to charge $37 a month for this, and charge $37 as a package deal into our American Dream Empire Builders Mastermind group. But I just got my 100th subscriber yesterday, and I haven't turned it on paid yet. So if you guys all want to join the American Dream group, and I'll give you guys, if you set up a time with me to talk, I'll give you the smart card for 3 months. So you can network with it, see if you like it, and I'll get you into this group. I'm going to charge for it next month, but I'll give you it, for free for now. So if you want to try and see if this is the kind of stuff you want to be around, here's a tax strategy that we had with our tax strategists on how to save real estate investors. Our race to revenue. This is how to save real estate investors and business owners at least 10 grand a year in taxes, most of the time more. So we're always doing stuff in the group. We'll have a deal pitch day. Here's the Veterans Race to Revenue group that we're going to start, and this will be ongoing. I'll give you access to all these other courses. There's Amanda's Redheaded Remodeling Realtor, where she'll be going over deals with people. So that's pretty much it. Did we get the chat going? All right. Here is my smart card calendar link. If you guys want to do this and set up, if you guys want to set up a time to talk to me, here's that. If you just want the scorecard and you don't want to talk to me, that's fine too.
Amanda voted for that one.
Maybe she's missing out then. Here's this one. And then you guys, if you want to read up more on the race to revenue, where are you at? I had it in here. Hold on. Sorry about
While
this.
you're looking, there's a lot here. I see Amanda was able to join us. It was an awesome presentation, Amanda, even though you weren't here to do it. And that, I think for the group that I'm familiar with, this is a box that all of us should be looking to attach to. While there's not a lot of veterans in this group, we all know veterans. We all want to serve veterans. Tracy and I were talking yesterday. She has a new program. Let's get people in touch with Amanda and Chad, and that so that we can start building this group. And even though you may not have worn the jacket yourself, and that people that do, you can become the hero by involving them in this type of a group.
Another thing is really capturing people before they get back into their old way of doing things. I mean, this is great for people that just got out, that need direction, that have that entrepreneur gene. It's great for people that already took that leap, already got things going, and maybe they have a good life. You know, if you're making 10 to 20K a month, that's pretty good. But if you're at that, this is perfect for you, because we might could get you to that mid 6-figure, maybe even 7-figure one day, because it's just an elevated way to think. You know, I listen to people all day long, call me in mayhem of their own, but when I look at them from a third person perspective and put their life on a spreadsheet, it's not that big a deal, you know, but you got to have that perspective. And this is just kind of what I do in life. So if you guys want to have some fun with this and you really want to stretch your limits, and you know, if you think you're good, you know, we'll make you better, just like Top Gun style, right? Which I actually have a Top Gun case study on real estate. If Maverick would have hooked up with Kelly McGillis and they would have bought that house, I mean, they'd be sitting fat right now. But we can go through that later. Does anybody like this, that knows that this is right for them? Because I don't want money to be an issue to stop you from doing it if you think this is right for you. Because I have to start this group. It's working okay with the other one, but I really want to make a core veteran group that everybody can grow together over the next 3 months, because I mean, that's healthy competition. People know without knowing everybody's financial business. I'm not going to sit here and start talking about that to everybody, but once a month we'll have a one-on-one meetup. And then once a week, like, we see people's progress. I've been in these groups myself on the other end. And when you get entrepreneurs talking about their stuff, you're always going to get something from somebody else. That Think and Grow Rich mastermind, you know, Thomas Edison and Henry Ford were in a mastermind together. That's crazy to think of, right? Like, you think those dudes aren't going to learn something from each other? Like, iron sharpens iron. So I really want to make this a legitimate group and keep the integrity of taking action. So if you're not ready, that's fine. Hook up with me anyway, and I'll give you, you know, a few little goodies to maybe get you to the point where this is right for you. And if you know someone that this is right, get them on with me if they need this. Sometimes people, they just get too, like, business owners, they get too scatterbrained. And I go back to the TV show I was just on. This one guy had a great business model, and I had ways to help him, but he was just so stuck doing the same thing, where he's getting ahead, but then the next month he has to get behind again. It really is a hamster wheel. Even being an entrepreneur, if you never can step out of yourself and try some new things. So this is the workshop for that, you know. Amanda, you got anything?
No, I am glad that the presentation went well. Sorry, I couldn't be here for the first part of it, but this is important to us on all levels, especially for veterans, to give them the tools, strategies, and opportunities to get into business and to make it successful and to create that freedom for themselves and their families. So we want to help as many as possible, and we want to partner with as many of you as we can to make that happen. So thank you.
And I
Yeah,
look
dude.
forward to there's so much to unpack here. And I look forward to having conversations with you to see how we can take pieces of this and dive deeper into the smaller elements. We're kind of at the end of our time. Actually, we're a little bit over today, but this was the first one in this format. I hope everybody got benefits out of it. The big thing, Chad put his information into the chat. So reach out directly. I've been seeing all kinds of comments, both privately and in the main chat, that this is a valuable format. I'd like to hear from all of you. Is this what you're looking for, so that you can present to the those that wore the jacket veterans, law enforcement, and first responders. And Chad, I'm gonna
I think-
stop the recording right now, but
Okay.
anything else that